John Beaudin from Rock History Music. It's Today in Rock History. Every single day we have fun doing this. And if you know someone whose birthday is today, July 30th, well, make sure you share this video on their timeline. I think they'd appreciate it. You know why? A lot of stuff happened in rock and roll on yours. Maybe it's your birthday or their birthday. And before we start, remember, we're raising funds to build a brand new computer. We're actually building a computer because our current computer that does all our production is falling apart. We've raised half the funds thanks to you. So thank you very much. There's a PayPal link in the description for anyone who follows any of our channels. You can buy a t-shirt or else you can join our Patreon. And we want to thank everyone for basically coming on board. Hey, the first teen idol in Canada, right there, Paul Anka. Born in 1941, long before You're Having My Baby or I Don't Like to Sleep Alone, the guy had a plethora of hits. Bobby Rydell, who passed away this year, when I was talking to him, he said there was one time he was touring on Dick Clark's bandstand, there's a whole bunch of people. And his roommate forgot to wake him up. And the bus took off and he went, that's it, I'm going to get kicked off this tour. He goes off into the hotel lobby and there's Paul Anka, who didn't take the bus. Paul Anka was too big to take the bus. He had his own private plane. Paul Anka said, come on, you come with me. Your career is not going to go down the hill. So Paul Anka saved his life. And to this day, well, we've lost him, Bobby Rydell now. But he said, all my life, I was always appreciative of that. So there you go, Paul Anka. He's the man. David Sanborn had a chance to meet and interview David. What an unbelievable performer, a great talent. I had a lot of his albums when I was doing smooth jazz. I played a lot of his stuff. And remember his late night show? It was very, very good. He played with Stevie Wonder, James Taylor, and David Bowie. It's his birthday today. Also, Jeffrey Hammond, bass player. He was with Jethro Tull, what was it, 71 to 75. And these are big albums, of course. Aqualon in 71, Thick as a Brick the following year. But I love The Passion Play. Do you know that album by Jethro Tull? Do you know the song right smack in the middle of that album? The Hare Who Lost His Spectacles. He had this, and Ian Anderson, even though he's given writing credits for this, Ian Anderson basically said that was basically all Jeffrey Hammond. I'm saying basically way too much. That was all him. He came up with it. Look it up, The Hare Who Lost His Spectacles, if you don't know it. On YouTube, there's a video. It's amazing. You think, what was going on in this guy's mind? Of course, he's an artist now, a painter. I say, I'm not worthy. It's just one of the most interesting pieces of music that I've ever seen and heard in my life, because there's that video. Hugh Nicholson used to be with the Gaylords. Then, of course, Marmalade came out of that. Was born in 1949. There she is. She was so beautiful. 1958, she would be 64. Kate Bush, UK singer, running up that hill thanks to, of course, a popular little show, the Upside Down World little show, Stranger Things, that brought back that single, Running Up That Hill. Wuthering Heights was her first album. Cloud Busting. There's so much material from her body of work that I just love this woman. I'm glad she's still around for sure. 1972, Brad Hargraves, Third Eye Blind. Remember Semi-Charmed Life? He was born. It's his birthday. 72, he's a young one. In 1980, Seth Avett from the Avett Brothers, remember Magpie and the Dandelion, was born. Happy birthday. We, of course, always have some sad moments when we go into Today in History. Sam Phillips, the man on the left, record producer who launched Elvis Presley's career at Sun Records. He died in 2003 of respiratory failure. He was 80 years old, so he wasn't exactly a young man, but then, when you're 80, you still want to live a long life, or longer life, right? In 2014, American rock guitarist and songwriter Dick Wagner, he worked with Alice Cooper, he worked with Lou Reed, died of a lung infection. He was 71 years old. We move along. Lots of stuff going on this day in history. The Troggs, remember that wild thing? The Troggs started a 2-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart. And of course, the Beatles, they're always on every single day. The Beatles are the one who started a 5-week run at #1 on the U.S. album chart with Yesterday and Today. It was their group's 8th #1 album. In 1965, the Rolling Stones released their 4th album, Out of Our Heads. And in 1977, Andy Gibb, with thanks of his brother Barry, who wrote this song, I Just Want to Be Your Everything. It was released and hit #1 on this day. Steve Winwood started a 4-week run. This was one of his biggest singles. I was really surprised by the fact that this was a single. I wouldn't have picked it, but I would have been wrong. Roll with it. Yeah, 4 weeks at #1. He was on top of the world. I saw him in concert in the late 80s. I think it was this tour, but unbelievable performer. Level 42 opened for them. In 1991, Enter Sandman is released as a single from the Black album from Metallica. And of course, Bruce Springsteen releases The Rising. There was a lot of hoopla yesterday when we put up the fact that, his ticket prices are a little too high. And a lot of folks were not happy with Bruce. More Bruce Springsteen. He and the E Street Band played the Troubadour in LA, a double bill with Roger McGuinn from the Byrds. Man, to be a fly on the wall for that show. 1986, Variety magazine reported that RCA had dropped John Denver over a controversial song, which is called What Are We Making Weapons For? 1987, David Bowie kicked off one of the largest tours in history. There was like 43 trucks for the Glass Spider Tour. It kicked off in Philadelphia. Man, I didn't see that one. I saw him with Peter Gabriel. I forget the year, but man, it was huge. Don Merrick, saxophonist for Earth, Wind & Fire, was accidentally shot and killed by a police officer in Santa Monica who were investigating a narcotics visit, I guess, to a home. He had a lighter in his hand. They thought it was a weapon. And in 2011, the U2 wrapped up their 360 tour in Moncton, New Brunswick, where I am right now. And they did it not that far. I mean, actually, I could say it was that way. And I know where it was. If I would have lived here at the time, I would have been able to hear it. Today in history, you're updated. How you feeling about it? If it's your birthday, congratulations. Look at the stuff that happened on your birthday. And if it's not your birthday, and if you know someone who was born on this day, July 30th, make sure you put this video on their wall. They'll appreciate that. And remember, if you want to support the channel, we're raising funds to build a brand new computer because our current one is falling apart. It's too old. There is a PayPal link in the description where you can make a donation, or else you can join our Patreon or buy a t-shirt. This is John Beaudin. Hey, have a nice weekend. It's a long weekend. Have a great weekend, and share our videos. We'd appreciate that. Like them, comment on them, all that stuff. Have a good night.